It's your boy Gibbons here.
And I will see.
And welcome to yet another episode of the Acromas Podcast, episode 63. We want to welcome you back. It's another week, it's another Sunday. And here's what I want you to do. If you're watching this and you're looking at our beautiful smiling faces because you're looking at this on YouTube, here's what I want you to do to really help out our channel. I want you to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and you hit that notification bell. So the next time you hop on YouTube, this video or the newest episode of the Acromas Podcast will be there just for you. And most of all,
it is free to do so. Yeah, we tell you this each and every single week for our longtime listeners and viewers. And if this is your first time tuning in, I'd like to remind you of those things as well. So make sure to hit that subscribe button, like our content, and be sure to share it. And again, it's free to do all those things. I love that word free because we don't really get to say that too often nowadays about anything. So when we get a chance, we like to remind you of that. And we do this every week.
Every single week we do this. And, speaking of that F word you mentioned, I'm looking at gas prices. I'm looking at food prices, another F word. And I can't even imagine it getting worse. But then the moment I say that, it gets 10 times worse. So I'm sure, look, we're preaching to the choir. Everybody out there is going through something right now. Everybody's affected by what's going on. So just hang tight, keep pushing, keep moving forward. Understand that there is an end to all this. Don't allow things outside of your control to stress you out. Just keep moving, keep growing as we always do. Just keep, this is part of the human experience, and it's kind of a play off of what we went over last week with our guest Herc. It's an experience, it's a journey, right? And this is all part of a journey, whether it's just me telling myself this in my head to keep my sanity, or it's true, right? There's elements of truth in that as well. So you just got to keep pushing, you keep striving, understand that this is just part of the journey. And it's just another phase, another chapter that you're going to look back on at some point in the future and say, damn, I can't even believe we made it through. What can't we do? You know what I'm saying? We'll see.
Yeah, absolutely, Jay. It really kind of comes down to those things. A lot of the times, the things we think is too much or too difficult, we get through and don't even realize it as we're going through it that we've already passed it at some point. And because we just keep moving forward, right? So you gotta, I guess, take the moment to reflect on those little wins, but to not be so hard on yourself that you forget to live through the experience. And I think that's what it's about, because with experience comes wisdom. With wisdom comes the ability to share that knowledge to someone else. So I think it is just a matter of perspectives and your thought process and how you approach these moments of adversity to kind of help shift your I guess direction of what it is that you want, what you want to do and go for. And I feel as though that's kind of really been a central thing lately for a lot of us out here in 2022. It's just kind of been that way, Jay.
Absolutely, man. And look, I think the other aspect of all of this, with us building this community of people who are moving towards their purpose, who understand what goal setting and habit building look like. I think it's important for us to give them a community, to give them a space where they understand that they are able to voice their opinions. They're able to share their ideas in the comfort knowing that they're going to be able to grow after what they're doing. And as we were building, it's been over a year since we've been on this journey. We'll see, and we thank everybody for being on this journey with us. We got to thinking that we actually needed a central location where anything and everything Acromas related can be accessed. Of course, we have this Acromas podcast, we have the fitness side, and of course, we're going to be getting into many other things, both online and offline in the near future. But we didn't necessarily have a central hub where we can communicate to our community. And I want to say that on May 2nd, we will be able to have launched the new Acromas Fitness website. Along with this website, everything that you can imagine Acromas related will be in there. Not only will our store be accessible, but our podcast from the past and the present, and then even into the future, will be hosted on this website. We will be able to have blogs on this website where we can share with our community. We'll be able to have an about page in case you've heard the name of Acromis, you've heard us spell it out every single episode, but you still may not know what we are actually about. I want to be able to share this opportunity with our community, Will C, so that they can get a chance to really understand what Acromis is, to understand what our community is, to understand what our goals are, what our brand represents, and where we're going for the future, man. So I can't wait for our community to be able to experience the new Acromis website.
Oh, absolutely, Jay. It's going to be a long time coming to bring a level of depth to the premise and its development. And this is definitely a way to kind of help to have our community be more engaged with one another, in addition to us as well. When you have a hub where you can reach us and have everything related to what we're creating and what we're putting together, for the longevity of, just making sure that we keep making people learn their worth, being willing to grow, being willing to embrace yourself and seek real change for yourself. This is a one-stop shop where you can have all these things happen in different ways. If you want to have that reflect outward visually, we have the clothing that you can do so to show your support, and that you are part of the Cronus movement and what we're all about. And from that to, if you're looking to help with creating a new habit, we have a book out there just for that 21-3 method to help
Yep.
you do those things, to help discipline your state of being, to help discipline your thought process, and to hold yourself accountable in a way that can do nothing but better you. So there's a lot of things that you have to look forward to. And even like what Jay said, the blog and whatnot, to become more engaging as we're building towards the next step in evolution of Promise and what we aim to do to help everyone worldwide.
Absolutely, we'll see. And that's what it's all about, right, guys? I mean, to 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 get a little bit real here, it's been tough for us getting into this. Of course, we have our own lives, right? We have limited time to even, put in all the work that we're putting into Acromis in general. But when you love something, when you understand what your purpose is, when you can feel like this right here is living, right? When you know that every single Sunday we're dropping gems, not only are we dropping it for the community to take and then go the route of making some sort of actionable movement in the gems that we're putting out, but we're also, I mean, this sometimes feel like it's a therapy session for us because of the type of weeks that we end up going through. It feels so it feels so right to just be able to decompress every single week, whether we're doing it here or we're doing it on the fitness side of things. I think it's very important to do that. And initially, I think when we've come so far when it came to just building a brand, because even before this, we were still fishing for a brand. We were still fishing. We understood exactly what our brand had wanted to represent, but of course, we needed to be able to tailor it and communicate it more so that our community will be able to learn more about it. And there were times that we were going through and we would stop, right? We wouldn't be posting as much, or we wouldn't be as active on social, or even in general, even in life in general, offline. And it turned out that the motivation that we lost, throughout all those times that we ended up stopping, or we didn't feel like we were doing anything, it wasn't strictly because we were lost. It wasn't because we didn't really understand what we were doing. In essence, it was the progress that we weren't making. And I think that's a great segue into today's episode as to why progress truly equals motivation. Now, of course, we'll see, we do have the Acromis fitness side, and this podcast is an aspect of that. But for those who have never experienced the wonders of exercising, or have not been able to hit the gym in a very long time, I want to remind you that the next time you do end up going, whether it's the first time or the 153rd time, I want you to look at where you were before you got there. I want you to sit and remember what you couldn't do compared to what you can do now. And I think for me on a personal side, it really showed how much progress motivates people in general, especially me when I was able to work out back when I was in college. And like I said, I was competing, I was doing so many different things. And the one thing that kept me motivated to keep coming back to the gym, to keep working out, and not just that, but to get stronger, to get faster, whatever my goals were at the time, it was the progress, right? It was strictly the progress, because each and every time, for example, if I was going on the bench press, there was a time back when I was really young, right? And I'm sure this is for anybody who's ever touched a barbell in a gym anywhere. There was a point in time where you couldn't even lift the barbell. You could not unrack the barbell, whether you're benching or if you're squatting. You didn't really know where to place the barbell on your back. You didn't know how far to go down. You didn't have the right strict form that you're looking for to make sure that you're building muscle the right way. There was a time where you didn't have any of that. I want you to remember that time. If that time for you is right now, where you're not necessarily a an expert when it comes to lifting, or you haven't been to the gym in a long time, and you didn't actually know what it felt like to progress, the gym itself is a place where I go to make progress. It is a sanctuary for me. It is my one of my biggest stress relievers in my life. And it just so happens that if I was to lift a specific kind of weight today, if I were to continue to do it, if I were to continue going and I'm seeing progress each time I go, in essence, I'm going to be motivated to continue to come back, because I am making progress toward the goal that I set, right? I'm making progress towards the life that I'm truly understanding that I want to live. My true purpose on the fitness side, I'm starting to see being fulfilled with each and every single mini milestone that I pass. So now for me, it's like, well, why would I stop? Right? Why would I then not go anymore, because I'm seeing that progress? But then you could see it on the flip side, right? If you're going to the gym maybe once a month, right, and you're doing the bare minimum, and you're not putting everything that you have, you're not focused, you're not obsessed with what you're doing, you're going to see that those results are nothing, right? If anything, there's going to be a regression, because you're not putting in the amount of work that is needed for you to see the progress that you with the work that you're putting in. So for me, we'll see. I think progress equals motivation, because each and every time I lift the weight, and even if it's 5 pounds or 10 pounds heavier than last week, I am motivated to keep going, because I'm seeing change, both physically, right? I'm feeling change in how strong I'm becoming, and mentally, because I'm able to prove to myself that I can stick with this. I'm able to prove to myself that I'm strong enough mentally and physically to continue to go on. So we'll see. I really think that that is a reason why progress does equal motivation, man.
Yeah, yeah. Just to add on to it, it's really a simple process when you really put it into perspective. Where we are in a period in life where most folks look for instant gratification, right? So even if you want to take it to that perspective, right, you just tweak it. So what you see and how you view yourself, let's say in a mirror, is like perception is reality. So if you constantly, look at yourself every morning, since we're talking about fitness, and you go give yourself maybe 15, 20 minute uh, workout, right? Start light, start something simple, but something that will have you feel motivated, feel encouraged. Because even if you did like few sets of a few things, you're gonna feel good because you're like, man, I just did that. So, taking that approach helps to develop consistency. But the consistency in anything you do, the more you do it, and you begin to like it, the more obsessed you become with it, and then it becomes habitual. So then at that point, again, what I mentioned before about looking in the mirror, let's say maybe you do this every day or every other day, whatever you want to do, enough of that. If you continue to do it, you'll end up becoming a type of person that makes it a habit. And then the results will come with time, right? So in essence, you are still fulfilling that instant gratification need of accomplishment. So this is why I'm like, it really just matters to your thought process and how you're handling these moments that you choose to want to better yourself. And in the midst of that, what will naturally happen, like with anything you do, you gradually become more disciplined in that sort of area. Because let's say you're doing this work and you're going to start noticing, maybe let's say, and this is not the point I would single anyone out, that may be something you may have eaten before. You don't eat more of it. You don't want more of it. And I'll give you an example. I'll use me as an example where, for example, with like pork and things of that nature. In the last year or so, I haven't consumed pork hardly, if any, because my body is rejecting that what usually the type of dishes I would eat when I say pork, because I don't want to sing. Everyone loves the bacon. I get it. People love the bacon. And they dig this. I love bacon too, majority of my life. But like now, I can't barely stomach the smell of it or even consume. I can't get it. I can't do it. And my kids love it. I give it to them. I make it for them damn near every day. But like for me, I can't do it. So I've adjusted. Okay, let me try like turkey bacon or like turkey wings, something along the lines that like I just made the necessary adjustments because of the way I started to discipline myself when it comes to my workout, my regimens that naturally came with the territory. Where it's like, okay, when I do try to eat that, choose me personally, it doesn't stay down long. But if it does, whatever it does, I feel heavy. I feel exhausted. I feel worse than I did prior. And I don't like that feeling. So in most things, something you don't like, you avoid doing whatever that is. It's causing you harm. So I started realizing, oh, my body is working with me to let me know, hey, this isn't for you anymore. Or like with pizza, like things like that, where it's like anything oily, it's hard. So nowadays, I don't really eat anything that's oily. Like I eat things that is more majority baked, or grilled or something along the lines. Nothing too heavy that's fried. And I only share all that to say this is what happens with time. Now, mind you, and to be 100, it's not like I am working out every day like I had before, but my discipline and my mind and applying the 21-3 method of what that stands and represents of creating a healthy habit, a healthy outlook, a healthy trajectory for myself has allowed me to stay within a healthy line that, listen, I don't have to consistently work out every single day physically and working those muscles, but my mind, I've worked it to the point that I'm able to manage my weight. I'm able to, when I put my workout in, I'm able to still kick into gear to whatever level I needed to be in because I'm consistent enough. And that's what it comes down to in life, where you create habits that's going to help you remain consistent to get through whatever you need to get through. Now, with the term being habits, that's subject to whether you would consider morally something a good habit or bad. So you really want to be careful not to blur those lines and focus on something. When we say habit, something of self-development. This is what we mean. So if you can manage to do those things, you're gonna naturally be motivated because you are applying that effort. By even doing, you're applying yourself. And I dare to believe that if you do those things, that you can't help but feel good and feel better in the moment for whatever that is. And you want to keep that momentum up. And the best way to do it is to continue to move forward. And in order to do that, you got to put the stepping stones in place that's going to build that consistency. And so that's how I see it, Jay, from that perspective. And using the 21-3 method has definitely been a huge contributor in my life. And has used it. He went through the whole process of it as well. So if you haven't, please be sure to get a copy of the 21-3 method so that it can help you in this area that we're discussing today.
Absolutely, we'll see. And look, if you are gonna get the 21-3 method from the achromastore.com, you should also use the promo code, right? If you want some savings, of course, I'll plug that in right now. It's 21% off of your purchase, just typing in the method in that promo code section, and you can have it. It's immediately yours, right? You can start today. There's no reason why you wouldn't be able to. And within the 21-3 method, we'll see, as you mentioned, you can see your progress, right? You're able to measure it every single day that you were going through what you were going through. You were able to understand exactly what your progress looked like. So for those that are out there that may not be able to see it, that may not be able to feel it, how are you measuring it? What exactly are those metrics that you're looking at to say, okay, I am truly making progress, or maybe I need to tweak this a little bit more here, right? And we'll see, as you mentioned, I mean, it's, it takes time to grow. It takes time to see some of these changes. It takes time to understand exactly how your body might react to certain things. And I know you mentioned with bacon or with any of the greasy foods that you're not eating now. I'm sure at a point in your life it felt almost next to impossible for you to imagine not eating those things, right? Maybe not on a consistent basis, but to say, oh man, pizza, I don't know if I'm feeling pizza today. Bacon, I don't know, right? But
Yeah.
it takes time to get to that stage where you are now, where it's like, I'm good. I don't need that. I don't want that. I'm fine. May I eat it one day? Sure, yeah, but it's not going to affect me in a way where it's like I gotta have it. I gotta have more. I need it, right? And that right there is a way to measure progress, right? That right there is showing you that his habit changed, right? It's no longer an unquenchable desire to eat those kinds of foods. It's more of a choice now because he's in control. He knows exactly what his purpose is, and if it doesn't fit well in that, then why would he waste time or spend time doing it? So I think it's very important to understand how to measure progress, especially if you are in the gym. The best way to do that is to find out where you're starting, right? Like for example, find out what your limits are, whether it's in bench press or squat or deadlifts or any type of exercise. Find out exactly what that one rep max is. From there, you could use percentages to understand, okay, here's my working set, meaning if I do 3 sets of 12 of these, then XYZ would happen, you know? So I think when it comes to being able to see progress, because progress does equal motivation, you need to understand exactly how to measure what you're trying to accomplish and if the metrics fit correctly. Because if you're trying to measure how large your biceps have gotten over the past 2 or 3 months, but say based on your genetics, maybe your biceps aren't supposed to get that big after all. Maybe that's just how your body is, right? That's an important metric to understand because you may be measuring something that isn't going to grow as fast as, say, maybe your legs or your triceps or your
Mm.
chest or whatever. Different people have different bodies, so it's important to really understand what those metrics look like, man.
Yeah, that's a good point for sure, Jay. And that all falls in line with the stepping stones that we were
Yep.
mentioning a little earlier. Just little increments at a time. I think that's a huge thing that we are aware of, that we all get ahead of ourselves because we're looking at the end result. For again, that instant gratification. We want that right now. We want that person that we see on TV. We want that sort of look. We want that sort of image of ourselves, of how we foresee how we, supposed to look. And the reality of it is you can get there and sculpt yourself to fit the image that your body is supposed to be as best as it can be. It's a beautiful feeling when you can feel like you are in a place where you are in tip top shape and in peak condition for yourself, not for anyone else or any gang. I've done that quite a few times in my life at this point now. And Jay, you know what that's like. You've done it as well. When you hit that peak, you hit your stride, you know it. And if anything, it's an awesome feeling because it gives you something to aspire for. Because like in life, everything's consistent. So we know that peak isn't always going to fluctuate, right?
Exactly.
This doesn't always be apex all the time. It's going to fluctuate. So you gotta just take a moment to embrace that and understand that you're going to have the highs and you're going to have those lows,
Mhm.
but you got to find a fine line of consistency. If you can do that, then it brings it full circle and you will always be on top of your game enough of where you should be. So even if you have a moment of latency, because like life happens, this is, we're talking about fitness here,
Yep.
like life happens. So maybe you can't get to the gym every day. Maybe you got an injury that set you back. Like, look, listen, I've been dealing with a broken foot issue since October, and I haven't been able to run like I used to run.
Mhm.
So now I have to be a little bit more considerate about my moderation and how long I run, when I run, and I've had to make adjustments to my workout methods. So, in all honesty, is it where I would love for it to be? No, but it's consistent enough where I'm able to manage my health, and that's what's most important. I don't have to look and be the most fittest in the world. Like as long as I'm at a good, consistent fit for my health, for my longevity, to be here for my kids, for all my loved ones, and most importantly for myself because I love living. I'm gonna do the steps that is necessary, and because of the habits that's been created, I don't question it. It's never a matter in my mind. It's a like, if this is gonna happen, it's when,
Mhm.
and then I do. When I need to, I do. So that all applies to the 21-3 method and those habits that were created along the way the last few years that has been in development and just has become habitual in life, where it is a focal point of like we know that this is a reality for us now. And this is something that you can get yourself to if you aren't already there. And if you are at the place and you're at a point right now and you're watching this where lately things haven't been going your way and you've been hitting a low in life for different reasons, life events, stuff happens. Just take that moment to stop and just breathe. Understand where you are in life right now is where you're supposed to be. And everything will be what it is. And that's okay. But your mind and perception of how you handle it is up to you.
Mm.
So if you can find a way to keep your composure and keep the calmness through the storm, it'll help you kind of focus in to see through it and start taking the steps to get to the end of that. And you're better for it. And that's in any aspect of life of what you're dealing with, right?
Mhm.
And the key to it is to stay motivated through that process of loving you. So if
Mm.
you could do those things, you've already won in hindsight. Everything else is just a nice reward along the way.
I think you've hit the nail on the head, man. Acromas community, this is truly about you, right? I know so many times we may go to social media, whether it is for motivation or just to see particular people. And sometimes, that body image that we see that might be airbrushed, it might be filtered, there may be so many things that are doctored to those things. So it's important to understand that your image is beautiful. Know that. Know that you are a beautiful person inside and out. And don't try to measure up to somebody who might be 3 or 4% body fat, who themselves aren't living their best life, right? I've heard many stories of different bodybuilders, professionally and amateur, on the amateur level, that they're like, man, I can't do that consistently because it isn't healthy for me to be that low in body fat. It isn't healthy for me to lose so much weight in such a short period of time. Or on the flip side of that, it's not healthy for me to be that large, that massive. So it's very important to understand that you would be the only one to understand how healthy you feel, right? It's about how you feel at the end of the day. It's about how you look, and if you are comfortable with how you look, if you are happy with how you feel, that's what it should ultimately be about. And in order to continue to be motivated to get to that level where you're saying this is exactly where I want to be, progress had to be made to get there, and progress will still need to be made in order for you to stay there, because once you stay stagnant, things tend to fall to the wayside, things start getting missed, you start forgetting about who you truly are and what your purpose is. It's time to hop back on that train, so to speak. It's time to get back to where you used to be, because that used to be us in the past, right? We all have different seasons. We can't be who we used to be, but you could be a better version of yourself every single day. So it's very important to continue to make progress, continue to understand how that progress looks. And look, if that for whatever reason that progress ceases, right? Because as Will said, there are ebbs and there are flows as well. So there are going to be times where you're oh god, progress is through the roof, and sometimes you feel like you're not making any. But it's important to understand what that baseline is, and that baseline will be your foundation to get exactly where you want to be. And you can see all of this in the 21-3 method as well. We talk about this at length. We talk about how progress looks. We talk about how it looks for you, how it looked for Will C, and how to look after those 21 days are done. So it's very important to continue to make progress in your life, continue to stay motivated, and continue to understand what your purpose is and approach that purpose with this fervor, with this obsession, knowing that eventually you will get there. Eventually you will get there. It might not be immediate, but you keep making progress. You keep making progress every single day by 1%, and eventually you will get there.
Oh yeah. Because overall, as we learned recently, it's all part of the human experience. And embracing that, you really understand how much you matter. So I don't think we could have put it any other way today, Jay.
Look, we said it exactly how it needs to be said. And now we want to hear from you, right? We want to turn it over to you, and we want to hear your story when it comes to this. We want you to name a time you were truly unmotivated. I'm talking about your lowest, right? You didn't want to do anything. You didn't want to go anywhere. You didn't want to speak to anybody. You were a recluse. You stayed in your room. You didn't do much. We want to hear about that time in your life that you were completely unmotivated until progress, even if it was just a small percentage of progress that you saw actually helped to propel you forward. That instant, that moment that progress propelled you forward, we want to hear that story. And the best story that we get from you guys will be featured on the next episode of the Acromas podcast.
Yeah, we can't wait to hear it. I'm really looking forward to the feedback. To kind of see where everyone's mindset is, their perspective, and ultimately that you're growing too, because this is why we're doing what we're doing. So we want you to grow with us. We want to grow with you, as we grow our community. So please definitely let us know. We can't wait to hear it.
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely. And you know what I mean, since we're on the fitness side, I think this is an area where we can stay for a little while, even if it is for another week. I think with spring coming, well, spring is here actually now, right? It's supposed to be, I can't tell. Every time I go outside, I need a jacket, right? I thought spring was supposed to be a little bit warmer. I know it's getting warmer, but it needs to be here now because spring already started. It's here. We're starting to shed the clothes a little bit more, starting to get a little bit more active outside of the studios that we are in right now. We'll see. But I got to say, I think next week's episode is going to be one that our community is going to want to hear. Now, if you've scoured the interwebs for the past 20 or 30 years, I'm sure you've seen diet tips, you've seen lifting tips, you've seen weight loss tips, you've seen fat burning supplements, you've seen so many different things, and I'm sure you've been completely overloaded with information like we have. It's one of these industries where everybody believes there's a quick fix, and quite frankly, people want to hear that there is one. People buy into that. If I can if I can lose 100 pounds in 5 days, I'd love to do that. Now, I probably wouldn't be healthy afterwards, but
no,
look, I'm losing a ton of weight. So next week, we want to be able to, first of all, we want to scour the interwebs again ourselves and figure out exactly what some of these experts, so to speak, are missing when it comes to weight loss. So next week, we want to dive in to really understand and explain the true secrets of weight loss. We're gonna touch on, I would say, maybe 3 tips that we can give to you to shed weight and not just shed weight in the immediate future, but keep it off permanently. So we want you guys to join the Acromas podcast episode next week, next Sunday, exclusively on the Acromas podcast, 9:30 a.m. to join us once again for us to drop these gems. We'll see. I can't wait to do it, man.
Oh yeah, definitely. But we got to make sure to let them know how they can still reach us. For our new listeners right now, how could they reach us?
You know what? We'll see. I'm glad you brought that up because, look, if you're new here on episode 63 of the Acromas podcast, we want to thank you for coming. Thank you for joining us this Sunday. We welcome you, and we hope you enjoyed this episode, and we hope you come to see more. But for those who have been here and still do not know what we are about, I will spell it out for you once again. ACHROMOUS. We are on Spotify. We are on TikTok. We are on Facebook. We are on Instagram. We are on any single place that you can hear a podcast. We are there. I guarantee you. But most of all, if you are watching our beautiful faces once again on YouTube, here is what I want you to do if you did not do so at the beginning. I want you to hit that like button. I want you to hit that subscribe button. And please, I want you to hit that notification bell so that the next time you are on YouTube and you're scrolling through that feed, this episode will pop up as one of the top episodes on YouTube. And ladies and gentlemen, most of all,
it is free to do so. Please do all those things that Jay just mentioned to you. I'm gonna leave it there, Jay. I'm gonna leave it there.
That's incredible.
Take it easy on you, but it's free to do those things, guys.
I cannot believe it. I cannot believe we're giving these gems out at no cost. But ladies and gentlemen, we want you to come back for these gems. We love having you. Once again, it is your boy J.H. Gibbons. We want you to enjoy the rest of your week, and until next time, once again, it is your boy J.H. Gibbons.
And I'm gonna say,